Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to try something a little different today, is do like a guided meditation. So what I'm going to be doing is teaching you how to do what I do. And it's going to be relatively basic, but these basic foundations will get you started on practicing and becoming a shamanic journeyer. Now, it's really interesting. We use the word shamanic because people understand that. And because a journey state is a journey state, and there's many different types of journey states that you can be in. So what I'm going to be teaching you is, I'm going to be basically describing everything that I want you to visualize. So use your imagination to visualize everything that I'm stating. When I ask you a question, I want you to allow that image to come to you without even thinking about anything. If you think of something, don't worry about it, just dismiss it, take another deep breath in, let it go, and then allow that image to come to you. So initially, when you start doing this type of exercises, you're going to start bringing in as many senses as you can as possible. So one of the things that I really want you to focus on is bringing in smells, bringing in emotions, bringing in your heart senses, sight, the feel of the wind on your face, the feel of the sand, like tactile things as well. I could go on and on and on, but try to bring in every single one of your senses into that experience. Now, I'm going to be telling you what to experience. At some point, this is where it's important to understand, is by doing this type of exercise, it teaches you the foundations of becoming a journeyer, because you need those imaginational type understanding before you can move into the next phase. And the next phase is basically you're not controlling the images anymore. The images are coming to you. That step is usually easier to get to if you go through a doorway, enter any type of passageway, enter through a wall, enter through a barrier, like anything to switch the scene. And eventually it's not going to matter, because you're going to be allowing these images to come to you all the time. But it's good to start off exercising with your imagination to bring in those senses, to bring in the sight, because the sight is important. You have to be able to see with your imagination. And one of the founds I always found was interesting is that when you go into meditative state, your eyes are closed or they're open, but I prefer to keep mine closed. If they're closed and you're journeying, you should still be able to close your eyes and open your eyes in the journey state. So when you're in the journey state, you close your eyes, you should see darkness. Now, that's usually a very good sign, and the more detail you bring into the journey state, the better it's going to become. And the better you're going to be understanding how to do it in the future. What people struggle with is going from the imagination into allowing the spirits to speak to you through your imagination. This is important. They use your imaginations to speak to you. So you're no longer thinking of what it is that you're going to use your imagination with. They're using your imaginations to speak to you. So the more better you are at your being imaginative, or allowing your images to be powerful, the better more you're going to see in a journey state. Not necessarily the better, because you don't have to see everything. A lot of it's done with your heart as well, so feeling is a huge part of it. And the feeling teaches you about something. It teaches you what is good, what is bad. It teaches you the details, the history, the energy around what you're seeing, because you could essentially just see it. But it's also the feelings that you get around it that are very important, because those feelings are also part of your understanding. So enough talk. I'm just going to go right into the journey state. So what I want everybody to do is just take a deep breath in and out with me a few times. This is important because it relaxes your mind, body, and soul. As you breathe out, allow yourself to sink, allow your energy to become at peace, allow all the hardships of the day to just filter away. What I like to say sometimes is that all the worries, all the stress, all the anxieties, everything that is keeping me from becoming the best journeyer I can be, I put that aside and I give it back to the universe. And by stating things like that, and you can make it in any way you want, and you can make it as detailed or as focused as you want, it allows you to step out of all the stresses of your life so you can become a much better at doing a journey. Intention is extremely important and when it comes to a journey. So when you're doing a journey for somebody, you want a journey into the heart. You state that you want a journey into the heart. That's why we ask people what their goals are, because I can just go into somebody's atmosphere and deal with what is exactly there and go deeper and stuff like that. But if you make it specific, we go specifically into that strain, because you have to understand a person is so complex that if it's wide open, you might not get exactly what you were thinking of or what you wanted. And even when you are intentional, people aren't used to hearing wisdom and the healing techniques that most shamanic journeys do, because it is different, very different from the standard psychic readings that you're used to, because they're going to tell you flat out what you need to do, and a lot of times you don't want to hear it. They're going to speak to, the energies are going to speak to you as to what you need to do to overcome the things that you're wanting to overcome. So breathe in your nose and out your mouth one more time. So the exercise I'm going to start with is that you're walking down a pathway and you come to a ridge, and there's a path that goes down the ridge all the way down, and kind of like a S shape, to a valley where there's long grass, and there's a big tree way off in the distance, and we'll call this the tree of life for each individual, because that tree could look different for everybody. So I want you to look at the tree and tell me what you see. What is the tree? What does it look like? And then forget about it, because at this time we're going to focus on the journey to the tree itself. And this is a tree of life within everyone. Everyone has a tree of life within themselves. So I start walking down the path towards the bottom. There's a little bit loose rocks here, so you got to be careful. And you can see yourself sliding and some rocks going here and there. But you're not losing your balance. You're actually keeping yourself steady. And you're walking down a path and the rocks start to give away, just the little ones though, and you're still managing to stay fine. It's quite steep, but you're able to stay in balance. And when you get to the bottom, you look up and you go, you're just kind of like glad that you actually finally reached the bottom, because a few times you felt like you were going to trip, but you didn't. So you're at the bottom and there's a bunch of loose rocks, and I want you to look at all the rocks around you, and I want you to see any rock that stands out. Now I'm going to tell you what I see, but I'm going to give you time to look down and decide what rock you want to pick up, and then look at that rock and look at it in detail. So I'm going to look around and I see a rock that stands out. It's blue and it has like a fiery glow in the center of it, and this rock is like a perfect sphere. And it has a beautiful, beautiful blue energy in it. And this is what I see, but I want you to take your rock and I want you to place it into your heart. And that's going to help you on this journey, because it's part of what it is that you need to heal or let go of on this journey. And this journey is a bit wide open. The intention is to journey to your tree of life. So I want you to take that color and place it in your heart. It could be a black rock, a brown rock, it could be just a regular looking stone. It doesn't matter, because whatever you have, I want you to place it into your heart, because it's important for you, specifically for you. I start to walk, and the grass is about up to just past my waist. So I take both my hands and I put them out to the side. And I allow my fingertips to go through the long grass, and it's freshly, there's fresh dew still on the grass, so I could feel the moisture on my hands and the texture of long grass. And I want you to feel your fingertips going through the long grass, your arms hitting your wrists, getting damp, your arms getting damp, your fingertips getting damp, going through the long grass. And when we come out of the shade, we come into the sun, and now the grass is dry. And we keep walking, and down, like you look down at the feet, the path is dusty in this area, and you hit your foot on the ground, it causes a little bit of dust to fly up into the air. And we walk a little further, and I go down on my knees, and there's a little bit of dust and sand, and I put it in between my hands, and I kind of rub it in my hands, and I allow the texture of the sand and like a dusty soil, allow it in my hand and let it fall down. I want to do this, and that you can see and feel the dust and the grit in your hands. There's a part where it's just sand, and I want you to stick your hands into sand and pick it up and just allow it to slowly go through your fingertips and then dump out the rest. And I want you to spend some time doing this, and I want you to look through the sand to see if you see anything. And I see something specific, but I want you to see what you see, and you keep this to yourself, and you look at that object, and I see a shiny object, and I pick it up, and it's a bluish diamond. I take that blue diamond, and I actually take that diamond, and I place that into my third eye, and this is a third eye thing. So my intention was nothing, but I know when I picked that stone up, I know I had to place it in my third eye. You ask where it needs to go into your physical body, or your spiritual body, I should say, and decide where it is that you need to put it. I need to put mine in my third eye. You decide where you're going to put that stone or that object or whatever. You might not find anything, which is perfectly fine. I was meant to find that diamond to place in my third eye. I stand up and I look at this area. It's in bright sun, and I walk out of the long grass, and it's a little bit shorter here, and it's full of flowers. Now I want you to see the color of the flowers. What colors of the flowers do you see? I see many different color flowers, but you need to look at the field and tell yourself, what color is that flowers, and what does it make you feel when you look at the field of flowers? I look at one flower that stands out. It's a pink and white flower. It has pink petals and a white center. And I go over to that flower, and I look at it, and I smell it, and it's very, very beautiful fragrance. It's a very light fragrance, but it's very, very beautiful. Almost like a wild rose smell. It's quite nice, not overwhelming, but it's still strong, but it's still mild at the same time. And so now I want you to not pick the flower. I want you to change the way you're looking and have it so that all the flowers turn into energy. And I want you to pick the energy of the flower in your hand. And when you do that, what I see is a flower withers and dies. And now I have the energy of the flower in my hand, and it's pure energy, and it glows very beautifully, and it's sparkling with light. And I take that and I place that in my hand, and I hold it for like this with both hands, and I say something, an intention, and it's almost like make a wish on a star, but you put an intention into this, and it's a private intention. It's something just between you and the flower itself. And then I blow on that, and I allow that to go to where it needs to go. And the energy goes away and floats away and goes to the person. I sent that to someone, and that someone now will receive that beautiful gift. And this is it's just a beautiful thing to do, is to pick the energy of a flower and give it to somebody as a gift. An energy gift of love. So now I'm looking around, and I see that there's something on the road, and I walk up, and it's like a tree that has fallen over, and it's quite dead, and it's just branches that are broken, and it's been sitting here for quite some time. Now, I see when I look, this tree goes off very, 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 very high, and this is interesting because this is something that's preventing you or me from moving forward. And so what do you do when you see something that is blocking your way? How do you go through this? How do you get around this? Now, you see stuff like this, blockages, it could be a wall, it could be anything. How do you deal with the situation when this appears in front of you? The question is there anything appear in front of your path? Maybe your path is completely clear. But this is just something that appeared for myself. So I actually take and place my hand on that specific tree, and I look into it, and I let go of that energy. And when I touch the tree, it gives me an understanding of what it is that this blockage represents. And I allow that energy to go away. I ask the universe that I no longer need this energy, please take it away. And I give it back to the universe. And the tree fades and the pathway opens up again. I continue to walk towards the tree. And I see a huge, massive tree, and it goes for miles and miles and miles in the sky, and the flowers are pink, and the branches even touch the ground in parts. But it's like ridiculously tall. What do you see? What does your tree look like? And your tree could be anything. It doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong answer on this. So I actually sit down in front of the tree and I relax, and there's a little lake that's off in front of me when I sit down. About 50 feet away, there's a huge lake, and the sun is setting over the lake, and the colors are orange in the sky and pinks. It's quite beautiful. And the reflection of the water, of the sky, is in the water. And I just sit there and I allow this energy to penetrate my heart. And I just sit here in peace. And this scene could stay like this for days, years. It doesn't matter, because the sun does not have to set in the spiritual realm. It can stay in that specific spot for a very, very long time. I walk over to the water and I look down, and the water is perfectly still. And I look at my reflection. What do you see? What do you see when you look into the water? Take the water and cup your hands into it and let it roll over your face. And I want you to see if you can feel it like you would in real life. Try to bring in the sense of the water touching your face. The water could hold chill to the fingers, or it could be warm. It could even be hot. It's really up to you what you want the water to be. But when it touches your face, it has the same sensations as real water touching you, and water rolling down your face and wetting your clothes or your chest or even your hair. You can look back at the tree, and a door appears in the tree, and this will bring you to the essence of who and what you are, and this will be the gateway to your journeying, going forward. When you pass through that doorway, you enter into the spirit realm, and now you're able to move forward with your own journeys. This might seem simple, but there's a lot of learning involved. There's a lot of little details that you will learn along the way. And your intention should be, when you walk through there, that your spirit guides will be there waiting for you. And they will guide you into what you need to do, and to really truly understand your true gift. Because my journeying style is different than yours. And it should be different than yours. No journey style should be exactly the same, because no individual is exactly the same. So the best teachers are your guides. The guides can teach you to help you remember who you truly are and what your true gifts are. They'll help you to understand and remember what it is and how you do the journeying, or how you do the healing, and how you help humanity. because they're the ones that know. It's like a reflection of your higher self. They're there to help you through the transitional state of the physical and the spiritual realms. They're there to help you remember how you navigate and how you transform energy and how you move energy around. So walk up to the doorway, and it doesn't matter what color the door, whatever door it is, you reach forward and you open it. And when you open it, you walk through it without hesitation. And when you walk through, allow whatever it is you see to be what it is. And so when we walk through the doorway together, what is it that you see? I see a large house in a prairie type setting with mountains in behind and trees on either side. I see a woman standing in a field and she's picking flowers, and it's the summer, it's quite warm. And I walk over to that woman, and it's my mother, actually, who it is. I haven't seen her come up in a journey for a long time. And she's picking flowers, and she gives me a bouquet of flowers. And I accept them and I place them in my heart. And she takes me by the hand and we walk up to the house together. We walk in through the main door and we sit down, and she goes and gets tea. And we drink tea together. And that's what I see. And that's what has appeared to me. So that's my journey today. I'm not going to go into too much more detail than that when it comes to my own personal experience, but that's kind of how it is and what the journey is meant to be. So what did that journey mean to you? What did you see? What did you feel? It's important to bring in all your senses as much as possible, and you can do this exercise over and over and over again. And that tree of life, you could expand that journey or the imaginational part as much as you want. Spend a lot of time in there exploring, and then go through the doorway. It doesn't have to be right away, but you must use your heart to sense and feel. You must do the things that you're meant to do. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful day. And if you wish to visit my website, it's amonrossawakening.com. And I also have a Northern Lights page at josephbradleyauroras.com. And I also had been playing around with some of my Northern Lights, and I found that there's a lot of hidden things in them. And you can go to my new web page. It's hiddenaurora spirits.com. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.